Hey guys, RC here. Welcome back to our Let's Play Kansas City Royals baseball, and we are episode 4 here. Let's see. So where we left off, we're on a pretty good roll. We're 18-8. We're atop the division. So let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, we're 5 games up on California and Chicago and Oakland, who has fallen off the pace. They're all 500. 21st in attendance. Would really like to see, and we're down 13%, even though we are winning. That's scary. That's troubling. Um, let's see. So right now, yeah, we're projected to take a $1.8 million hit. Wow. Um, yeah, we need some fan participation here, guys. I mean, we have fan interest and loyalty. I don't understand why we're not coming out to the game a little bit more than we are, especially these drops below 10,000. I mean, we've been at or tied with the division lead the whole way, and now we actually have the best record or second best record in baseball. So that's a little troubling. Let's see. So we're still working. This is going to be a season-long project, I think. I could go in and just extend everybody, but I really don't want to do that. I want to kind of pick and choose as I go. So we've picked Dutch Leonard as basically the ace of our staff for right now. George Brett, the heart of the team, of course. He's only 21. Fran Healy. We have signed Hal McRae, and we're going to come in and snag a few more of these guys, but honestly, I don't remember from last episode if I had already put some contract offers in, so we'll go one more sim. That's not a big deal. Steve Busby, how old is he? See, he's only 25, so he's going to have to be a guy that we probably lock up. 4-0. In fact, let's go ahead and try to lock him up. He's making 320. He is signed just through this year. It's 320 to 369. That's not bad, but he's only 25. I want to put him on a 5-year deal. I think I'm going to try to knock him down a little bit in these first couple of years. Let's see what he thinks. All right. And let's take a look. Paul Splittorff, he's 28. See, I'm not real sure he's going to be a guy to build around. But he's still young. So we're going to hold off on him. Nelson Briles. Marty Patton. He's having a good year. I think I'm going to maybe sign him to a 1-year deal. And what about on the other side of the ball here? Killebrew I'm going to let go. He's 38 and he can't play for me. We even looked in the first episode 1. He wouldn't even be my starting DH even if we had DHs. So John Mayberry, God, how is he struggling that bad? He's just off to a bad start. Let's see. He hit 234 last year, 278, 298. Now, he's just really fallen off the table from a hitting perspective. His real life stats. I don't remember him being I mean, he wasn't a bad player, but he was certainly not one of the guys. But let's see, 291, 234, 230s. Yeah, see, that's weird. I mean, with those kind of ratings, that's an odd number. You know what? I am gonna. God, do I want to mess with karma right here? Let's see, graphical depth chart. Now see, Tony Salita is 28 as well. Now he's only hitting 190. Of course, I know Mayberry better than I know Salita. Now we're not based on real stats. We're just recalculating based on real stats. I mean, he was just a part-time player and never really hit well. Good gosh. Yeah, I don't know what to do there. Do I have Jamie Quirk? Rodney Scott. Yeah, I really don't have anybody else down there. Ooh, Roy Tanner. I'll put him on the DL. Yeah, I don't know whether to try to trade Mayberry or not. I do not know. I do not know. Okay, that's DH. Well, I'm not ready to sign him to an extension yet. Freddie Patek, 240, 30 stolen bases. Not a great player. I mean, you know, he was a little spark plug, you know, kind of like Lou Piniella with the Yankees. What makes Freddie stand out to me is when I was collecting baseball cards as a kid, I actually got a baseball card for, I think it was the '76 Kansas City Royals, and it was an autograph card. So there were no pictures on it, just the whole baseball card was the team's autographs, and his was right across the top. I remember that. Really good defense. Yeah, so I kind of like him. I'm kind of partial to him. So let's see, 132, 173. Let me give him 2 years and see if he'll take a little bit less. Now he wants 172. All right, so it'll be about a $40,000 a year raise. You know, but we are going to need to try to sign these guys as the year goes along. Busby, I think's got one. All right, well, let's go ahead and we're on Monday, May 5th. Let's go ahead and go out another week. Personal message. All right, Jerry Koosman, Ernie McAnally, Jerry Morales hits for the cycle. There, Gary Nolan, Pat Dobson, Freddie Patek signs his contract. All right, so doesn't look like the fans got anything out of that. That's too bad. And we're at the following Monday. Davey Conception, Big Red Machine, is hurt, hitting 231 this year. Gary Matthews, oh, you have to call him senior now because remember back up in the 90s or the early 2000s, his son Gary Matthews Jr. came along. Let's see. Phillips' wife causes ruckus, disses Boston. The wife of Boston's Lanny Phillips criticized the region, calling it a one-horse town with nothing to do and no good shops. She went on to praise other major league cities. This hot I love her, but I'm not responsible for what she says to you guys. I love the city of Boston. That's pretty funny. John Matlack in the news again. Andy Hassler, Charlie Spikes. Kansas City's at the top of the power ratings at this point. And let's check the standings. All right, we have gone to 22-10, a 4-game win streak. 6-4. We put a few more games as Oakland and California have fallen under 500. Amos Otis still in the leaderboard up here in average, Hal McRae in RBIs, WAR, Steve Busby with 5 wins, Tommy John with a 147 ERA. Also, in episode 1, I don't remember the guy's name, but he did a reply. We had discussed Tommy John was a free agent at the beginning of the season. And he actually had, in fact, if we look at his stats right there, he only had 22 games in 1974. That is the year that he got injured and had Tommy John surgery, and he was still able to come back in 1975. Now, if we look at his real stats, that is real numbers. So he didn't come back in 75. He sat the 1 year out with rehab and then came back in 76. So a little bit early from his surgery recovery, but you know, hey, it is a game at the end of the day. But I mean, you know, struggled that first year, but look at that, 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery, and he wins 20 games. And look at that run he goes on for 4 years. I mean, 2017, 21, and 22. Wow. I mean, and you think about it, I mean, today we take Tommy John surgery kind of for granted. You know, I mean, high school kids have this surgery. I mean, they named it after this guy for a reason because it was a radical process. And prior to him, that type of injury to your elbow or your shoulder, your career was over. I mean, literally, you were done. You never pitched again or played ball again. So, you know, it's kind of interesting how that's worked out. Let's see. So Cleveland takes us to the woodshed, a shutout. We did get an 8-6 win. We sweep Milwaukee, 13-4 game. Boy, we really buried their pitch in that game. Busby got the win, but he did not pitch great. 4 earned runs over 7. Bullpen looked pretty good. Bird with a scoreless inning. His ERA is coming down a little bit, but not immensely. Fran Healy got his 3rd home run of the season that game as he went 1 for 2 with 3 RBIs. He must have had a couple of walks. 3 walks in that game. Only 2 at bats. So it's nice to see some big numbers like that. And to end that series on a sweep. Losing to Cleveland 2 out of 3. You know, my goal whenever I play is to take 2 out of 3. Sweeps are great. You don't want to get swept, but I like to take 2 out of every 3. I figure if I can take 2 out of every 3, then I make the playoffs. All right, so let's see. Coming up next week, we've got the Yankees, the A's. We've got the A's and the Angels the following week. So it's, you know, that's going to be a big series where we could really open some space in our division. So let's see. Busby's 5-0, Splitor's 4-1, Bryles 2-2, Dutch 2-4, Patton 3-1, 6 saves for Doug Bird. I mean, 8 1/3 scoreless innings, 8 scoreless innings. That's pretty solid. And where, so still on top of everything except for power numbers, which is fine. I'm more of an on base percentage guy than a home run guy, and I'm actually more of a WHIP guy than an ERA guy. But I still, you know, of course, ERA is still way up there in the things that you look at. In fact, we're going to be facing Tommy coming up. So 22-10. Wow. I mean, here in the next 2 weeks, we could open up a double-digit lead. That would be really awesome. Let's check. So we had a drop-off from our high of 20,000. Nowhere near capacity. But we are trending upwards a little bit. We're up to about 1.9 projected lost revenue this year. Mm, 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 mm. How is... You know, those other guys have not signed their contract yet, have they? Pending offers. Alright, so Busby's still pending. And he's the only one. What about... front office? I'm trying to find the section for... Oh, there we go. Players on the block. I'm just going to shop him again. Nobody. Killebrew. Nobody. Which is fine. How is... Freddie... Freddie signs his new contract and all of a sudden goes into a slump. Much appreciated there, Freddie. Let's see, 239. Let's look at his splits here. So we are in mid-May. Alright, so April he hit a $1.97. He's hitting 333 for May. Doesn't look like he's going to have the power even with the average, but that's okay. I'd rather have a little bit higher average, but you would think getting the bat on the ball would equate to a few more RBIs if nothing else, because he's already got 11 hits. It's really hard to figure out what to do with him, because that's a big contract, and he's going to want to be probably between 400,000 and 500,000 if I extend him. Now, he ended up staying with them through 77. Well, we'll figure it out. Bryles, I'm having some concern with 5.7. Let me bring him down in the order here. Bring him down 1. Dutch is ready to pitch, so we'll put him in. Alright, let's go ahead and do another week. Alright, Busby signs his contract. 5-year deal. Phil Necro. Bobby Grich from Baltimore. Of course, he went on to play for the Angels. He was one of the guys that I remember when I first became an Angels fan. One of the guys that I really liked. Alright, let's finish out that week. Amos Otis, 3 weeks, fractured foot. Ouch. We get to Monday. Let's see, Amos, 3 weeks. So we're going to put you on the DL for 15 days. Now, you are my center fielder. Veda Pinson, 222. Do we have anybody? They say Rupert Jones. Can he play center field? A little bit. He's got some potential. And Sheldon Mallory. He's my better center fielder. See, he's only hitting a $143 in the minors. I don't know that he's mentally ready to come up. Rupert's only 20 though, so neither one of those guys helped me out. What about AC? Now, he's 23. He's not a great center fielder, but he's got good range. He looks like he's a little more prepared. Tell you what, let's go ahead and call him up. And let's see what the game does with him. Does put him into center field. All right. And that is going to put him hitting number 2 in the order. You know what? Solita's every 6th game. How's he hitting? 267, 265. Not a big difference. We did make it to Monday, so we've made our moves there. All right, Jerry Royce. Steve Garvey got 5 hits. Man, Steve Garvey used to be 26 once upon a time. He always seemed like he was so much older. I guess even at this time when he was in, 26, 27, he always seemed like he was older. He just had that square jaw, chiseled look. Mickey Lolich gets his 200th win of his career. Tony Perez hits for the 5 hits and the cycle in the same game. That's awesome. Phil Garner, American League Player of the Week. Garvey, National League Player of the Week. Fractured foot on Otis. And we have fallen off a little bit to number 4 in the power ratings. So let's take a look at the standings. How are we doing on time here? Yeah, we've got about 4 minutes left, so we're good. We'll call this the last week, I guess, of this video. So yeah, we go 6-4, 4-game losing streak. Oakland makes up a couple of games on us. They climb back over 500. Let's see, just kind of browsing. The Yankees are in a tight one with Baltimore. Boston's still right there. The Cubs over the Pirates. And the Reds 4.5 up on the Astros. Braves are 12 out. Brewers are 10 out. That's not a surprising set of circumstances. Let's take a look at our schedule. So this we actually swept the Yankees. Wow, that's anytime you sweep the Yankees, even if it's in a video game, if you like baseball, I guess that's pretty darn impressive. And we lost a 4-game series with Oakland, and we weren't really close in any of them. That's wow. So they dominated us there. Busby at his first loss. Blue Moon Odom, 1 run in 7 innings on 4 hits. You're not going to win games against guys pitching like that. Vita Blue. I tell you what, is it just me, or what the hell ever happened to Oakland? I mean, literally at one point in time in the 70s, they were the best team in baseball. I mean, the guys that they had, Jackson, Joe Rudy, Gene Tennant, Sal Bando, Vita Blue, Blue Moon Odom, and back to back in the rotation. Raleigh Fingers as the closer. Man, first off, how did these guys ever lose a game? And and how did they kind of become the laughing stock that that they would become eventually? And even in Moneyball, where they basically, they don't draw very well. Wasn't it the Oakland game? I heard yesterday. I was driving around working, and one of the national talk shows, and they were talking about Sports Illustrated did a article, and they had a picture of a game in Oakland, and it was the lowest crowd in Major League Baseball history. I think that's what he said, but it was literally like, oh, it was like 300 people or 600 people, like 300 and something or 600 and something people, and there was literally nobody there, and the host was making the comment that he said, yeah, I was a kid listening to the game because I think he was a Seattle fan, and it must have been Seattle. He was listening to it on the radio, and he basically said on the radio you could hear fans talking over the microphone. You could hear the individual people clapping. Um, just and then where they can't get the owner to spend any money, and then of course just yesterday, from the day I'm recording this, just yesterday in the NFL, Oakland is the only stadium where you have a Major League Baseball team and an NFL football team playing on the same field in the same stadium, where the football team's having to deal with uh, a Major League infield in the middle of their football field. Now, that used to be commonplace. But it's kind of gone in the other direction. One of the other things that I heard about that, they had a guest on that was talking about the Raiders, and he says that even on Sundays when the Raiders play and Oakland's not there, the A's are not there, the Athletics make more in concession sales because they get a higher percentage off of the Raiders sales, even though they're not playing. That's just how their contract is written. So yeah, I don't blame the Raiders for bolting for a better deal if things like that are the case. But honestly, they to some extent they've become a laughing stock. Now, of course, with the advent of Moneyball and Billy Bean and some of the things that he's done there, and of course, if we, as players of OOTP, I think most of us probably have some belief in Moneyball to an extent. But I just look at this team that was together back then. I mean, they were incredible. What they made 3 straight World Series, I think, in the early '70s, and had they not broken up and gotten rid of some of their key players, I mean, Reggie Jackson got sent off to the Yankees, and he wasn't that old. He was still in his prime. You got to remember in '77 with the Yankees, that's the year he kind of became Mr. October with the 3 home run game and the what was it 5 home runs in the World Series. But man, that was an incredible team back then. That was just insane. Oh, so we get swept, so that's not good. Busby with his first loss. He signed with us, so that's good. We are coming up to the end of May. Let's see, how are we doing on hitting? Joe Gates coming off the bench. George Brett, 284, 3 homers, 22 RBIs. So yeah, we're not hitting very well right now. Well, I say we're not hitting. I guess, I guess we are third overall with a 264 team average. I just look at it that I don't have anybody hitting, over 300 really, and that's freaking me out. Willie Wilson is still not showing any stats in Double A. I don't know why. Double A. I mean, he is leadoff. He's not even showing up on my list here. Why not? There he is. Gee whiz. All right, so well, they've only played 2 games. I don't. Is there something schedule? January, February, March, April. May, June, July, August. Okay, so for some reason it would appear that the game did not generate a schedule. Huh. Did not generate a schedule for the minor league. Now they're 1-1, so they have not played. AAA is 2-0 and 2-0. All right, well, I am going to have to look around in here and see. Game settings, league settings, league and teams. I'm trying to find, there must be a way. Functions. Edit league schedule. They can only be generated during the preseason. So it looks like I've really screwed the pooch here. Well, I will have to make a mental note to check their schedule for next year, because that's odd. I've never had it where the game did not. Now the only thing I did, let me back up here a little bit, is I came down and I deleted all these tertiary leagues, rookie league and summer A, and so I just went with A, AA, and AAA, and it looks like by doing that it glitched all the schedules. It shouldn't have done that, so I'm gonna have to report that. If anybody knows why that may have happened, but that's so we've at least figured out why Willie is not getting any at bats, which sucks because that cost me a year of development basically. Um, hmm. Well, not happy with that at all. Not happy at all. Well, not enough. I mean, if they're not scheduling for anybody, then at least all teams are in the same boat. But that doesn't make me happy. So between videos here, I'm gonna go post about that over on the OOTP forums in the bug category. Anyway, as we set up here, we did lose. We got swept by the A's, so that'll be something we'll be looking for a little bit of revenge maybe next week if we can get it. If they don't actually catch us now in the standings. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for checking it out. Hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough. Again, I appreciate the comments, the interaction. Kind of brings the league to life a little bit. I learned a little bit about my guy Lyman Bostock. I remembered he had been murdered, but somebody chimed in with some thoughts on that. We talked a little bit about Tommy John. We talked a little bit about why I don't like the Astros anymore, which I actually still like them because they're my hometown team now. But, I think what a lot of people that don't move around a lot in life, they don't understand is, you're just like they are, except your team that you may root for was somewhere that you lived 20 or 30 years ago, and and just because you live somewhere else now, perfect example is living here. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I get ridiculed around town for being a Cowboy fan. In fact, I had a run-in with Charlie Casserly, the GM for the Texans, previous GM, who, don't forget, he was also the GM for the Redskins, which is arch rivals with the Cowboys. And I had attended some Texan games. We watched them on TV. We supported them as the local team, but I was a Cowboy fan first and foremost, and if they ever played, I was rooting for the Cowboys. And I think rightfully so as a fan. And he told me, he point blank to my face told me, we don't want you to be a fan of our team if you're only going to be a fan 15 weeks out of the year. And I went, really? And he says, yeah. And I said, okay, I'll never come to another game. I'll never watch another game. And to this point, going on, 5 years now, 6 years, I have not watched the Texans on TV unless they're playing either the Cowboys or the Saints, because those are the two teams that I root for in the NFL. So if you would like to lose all that revenue, plus my kids don't get to watch the Texans, so he's lost the next generation of potential fans. And now he's not there anymore, but as the GM, he is the voice of that franchise. And he basically told me as a fan to go to hell, and so that's fine. But the Astros have never done that. But just them being in the same division, when that happened, I was like, really? Of all the moves that Major League Baseball could make, they're going to make a move that's going to screw me over personally. So I was not happy with baseball about that. And you know what? That may have contributed to my loss of interest in the league, on top of other things that we've talked about. But anyway, enough rambling. We'll get back to the balls and strikes here in the next video. I am going to go ahead and post up the bug there with the schedule that we came across, and hopefully that doesn't really botch our game. So you guys take care, and we will see you in the next inning.